that's mostly non-minority in affluent areas and stepping up to the plate saying, this is a moral injustice, and we are going to protect our schools just as vigorously as they want to protect ours, then you got a place in the front row. And no other groups can say that except for you. Nobody else. And so what that does is provide political coverage for your legislators, because that's what they're looking for.
It will raise the income tax. It will expand the sales tax into areas of the economy that many, many other states already tax. And Illinois is missing the boat, and we've been missing the boat on that for a long time. And we have to get enough new revenue so we can take care of all the essential services this state provides. Because if we don't, then we'll be right back to a game where everybody loses, because Representative Miller and all the other people in Springfield will sit down and they'll try to carve up a pie that's not big enough. And we'll all end up fighting each other. Social services versus corrections versus education. This is crazy, folks. That's a race to the bottom. And we're already racing there pretty fast. We have to slam on the brakes, we have to turn around, we have to start heading back up. And we do that by passing 174. And we can only do that when Representative Miller has the support of enough of his colleagues to demand a vote so they can vote for it, pass it. Governor Quinn said he'll sign it.
This has to come to an end. We are we're a $54 billion budget, and we're $10 billion in debt. We're out of schemes and games. The pension is driving our budget deficit. And so it is time to really talk serious about a tax increase. It's really time to talk serious about how we're going to fix the system. And so we got to have uncomfortable conversations about accountability. Some of y'all may not like that. Some of y'all may need it. But the point is that we can't ignore it.
It sounds absurd, but that's what our teachers are asked to do over and over and over again, and I do it too. You say, well, I could go to the used bookstore since I don't have a budget this year, and if I only spend $10 a week, then at least I can provide materials for my students, because I can't run a library like the one I walked into 2 years ago with a 1984 average date of publication in 2008. Please understand that there are other places in the state where it's much worse than where I am.
It gets quickly pigeonholed to an African-American inner city problem. And that's a problem that we've had to make sure that we don't get caught into. Because it's too easy for whites in the suburbs, remember I grew up, and those are more affluent areas, and maybe a little more conservative, or maybe not as, whatever you want to say, you know, to say that's their problem. That's their problem. So you will never be able to move an issue like this forward when you got folks on our side of the aisle saying, that's their problem over there. You know, why should we care?
They care more about children and the rights of children and the plight of children and the future of children and the future of families and the future of communities. And quite frankly, get a little patriotic if you want to. The future of this state and nation, because I believe that. You're not going to find a better group of people that internalize that more. So this is not about running away from accountability and running away about caring about kids' learning. Every day there's a great story in our district and throughout districts in this state about people who are making a difference for children because they know that unless they make that difference, we are in a world of hurt in our community, in this state, and this nation. Because we have the ability in this room and rooms throughout this state to make a difference. I say we take back. Take it back. Let's get control. Let's get ownership again. For whatever reason we gave up. on our ownership, well, I'll tell you, I've got some great, easy ways for us to get it back. And I think there's some ways for us to communicate with political leaders and say, we're not going to take it anymore. Let's not be victims, let's think about the future and be proactive.
We understand that what we have behind us is the IEA, which is a strong machine that is able to go to Springfield and be able to lobby our local politicians. And with that behind us, if we use the education, if we use the intellect that we have, and if we utilize our resources and go and speak to our legislators, that will make a difference.